Hello, and welcome to episode number 273 of the TEW Away Challenge Run. It has been about a week since, as I'm sure, Connell TEW diehards have realised at this point, there's either, a spring of, daily smashing out videos, or I go, a week without posting. And, well, there was reasons this time. I was, A, playing Digimon Survive, and B, was going through some shit personally, but oh well, we move on to the first SmackDown after Evolution and King of the Ring, and the Queen's Crown winner, Kairi Sane, was on SmackDown, so we're probably going to hear from her tonight, but King of the Ring, Cody Rhodes, he's on Raw, so he probably won't be here tonight, but SummerSlam, we move ahead to the biggest party of the summer. And what will be in store? We have to tune into SmackDown to find out. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We kick things off in the Toxic Lounge, of all places, And Mandy, Gigi, and JC are there. Mandy's like, Evolution was a great success for women's wrestling, See, women past, present, and future got a really chance to spotlight themselves and prove just who is the best in this division, of course. Wasn't so much a great night for us, but shit happens, we're going to bounce back from it. Don't think this is the end of Toxic Attraction by any means necessary. No, we're going to get back on top. And that brings me to, this whole Liberty Championship tournament, or not tournament, this championship match that Brandy set up tonight. You see, Toni Storm and Candice, I think, are wrestling tonight for a spot in that match. Give me a break. Because we all know who the real winner of that match is going to be, and it's going to be me, Mandy Rose, and I'm going to bring honor and class to being that first champion. Start as you mean to go on. It's going to be hard for anyone to follow my footsteps as that champion. But anyway, Evolution saw the crowning of this year's Queen of the Ring, Queen's Crown winner, and she's wasted no time, stating her mark. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring her out now, Miss Kairi Sane. And out comes Kairi, the Pirate Queen, Queen of the Seas, or whatever. Because I went with the whole Queen Sasha thing last year, and I don't want to go, Queen Kairi. But we can, I guess from Pirate Princess, she can become Pirate Queen or whatever. And she comes out, and she's like, thank you, Mandy, Gigi, JC. It's like, I won Queen's Crown. And it meant a lot to me to beat Asuka, of all people, in the finals. And hey, congrats to her, she's the new Raw Women's Champion. But I've already made my mark for SummerSlam. I'm going to take that SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm going to beat Dakota Kai, and I'm going to be the champion. And Dakota's music hits, and she comes out. She just comes out laughing. She just points at Kairi and starts laughing at her. And just keeps up laughing, laughing down that microphone. And Kairi's sort of getting annoyed, she's like, what the fuck's funny? But Dakota just keeps pointing at Kairi and laughing. And Kairi gets sort of really pissed off, to the point where JC sort of stands up and is like, bitch, you need to go sort this out. And Kairi sort of twats her. And Mandy and Gigi are like, what the fuck, bruh? Get off the Toxic Lounge if you're going to act like this. But then we then go to ads, and Dakota leaves without actually saying anything other than laughing at Kairi. And we get Kairi versus JC to open the show in a 70. That's pretty good, considering JC's only getting a 48 and there was no storyline attachment. But Kairi wins, obviously. Insane elbow. She gets an 82, a 48 for JC, and yeah, just a quick win for Kairi to get her on the show and showcase her a big win as we head towards SummerSlam. We then cut back and Daniel Bryan is talking to Kayla, and she's like, Bryan, of course, your comeback match at Money in the Bank, King of the Ring even, didn't go quite the way you wanted to. And Bryan goes, I'm going to stop you there, Kayla. Obviously you're right. Obviously, I wish I could be standing here today as the WWE Champion, but I couldn't. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew deep down in my gut that there was a chance I don't leave with the championship. But I'm not going to say that because I've got to, believe in myself. But Roman Reigns, he's held that title for nearly a year for a reason. And I didn't expect me in my first match back to be able to out-wrestle the man who's been on top of this goddamn company for the last year. That's just not how things work out sometimes, Kayla. But, I'm feeling refreshed. And feeling like I was shaking my rust off. And I feel like I want to get back in that ring tonight. and earn myself a rematch with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, Kayla. What do you say to that? She's like, well, I think that sounds great. And then Apollo walks in like, Brian, did you not pay attention? You lost at King of the Ring. You know, the tribal chief and the bloodline, they've got no business with you anymore, brother. Get to the back of the line, you know? And Brian's like, oh, right, you're sort of like Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns' bitch now, aren't you? I forgot. Because, you see, last time I was here, it was me and G, we were fighting. You were actually my last opponent here in WWE before I left. And it's a shame to see that you use that momentum to become a suck-up. And Apollo's like, well, bitch, fight me later on tonight. And Brian's going, I was starting to think you'd never ask. So that is tonight's main event, Apollo Crews and Daniel Bryan. I believe they've got bad chemistry, if I remember correctly, but it works for the story being Apollo. And then as Bryan and Apollo walk off, Heyman sort of walks into fray, and he starts rubbing his chin, and Kayla's like, can I help you, Paul? He's like, you can't help me, Kayla. I'm just admiring this main event matchup we've got booked here tonight. And then get quick hype video, I guess, to hype up this match, which is going to be the qualifier for the Liberty title match. Toni Storm versus Candice. Two women who are scoring really well and deserve a shot at the belt, but only one of them can get it. Who will it be? And an 80 rated match. It is Toni Storm who will join Florence in the match. Yeah, because Florence beat Nova and Toni beat Candice. Yeah. An 80 of a strong 0 in 14 minutes. Just give them a nice time to go out there and just have a match. Toni Storm gets a 79, a 76 for Candice LeRae. And the first SmackDown participant in the show, in the match, is Toni Storm. And yeah, 4 more spots to be filled. You know, Mandy already claimed that she wants a shot at the belt, but we'll have to see if she can qualify first. 2 more from Raw, 2 more from SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, I guess, the SmackDown United States Champion, Happy Corbin, knee-jerk niece, walks into Pierce's office. She goes, Pierce, you see, now there's no doubt about it, I beat that bum Madcap Moss. And who knows when we're ever going to see him again, you know, it could be over a year. Wink, wink. But, you know, I'm looking ahead as your United States Champion, your only United States Champion, about what I'm going to be doing at SummerSlam, Pierce. I don't see a challenger lined up for me. Pierce's like, well, obviously I'm going to have to try and work out a challenger for you, because I do want your championship defended at the biggest party of the summer, you know. And he goes, let me talk to you. Stop right there. Mr. Pierce, I mean no disrespect to you, but if you're looking for a challenger to be the next United States Champion at the biggest party of the summer, you better not look any further than L.A. Knight, yeah. And Corbin's like, excuse me, who invited you? It's like, well, I mean, listen here, you fucking bum-ass Baron Corbin. You nearly lost the right to even have that United States Championship. And because of what you did, those actions you got up to in Las Vegas, I don't think you should be the champion anymore. So if I was the general manager or something like that, I'd have you defend that title every single week until you were beaten by a more credible, more trustworthy champion. Yeah? Pierce is like, you know, you are right. Like, Corbin shouldn't get off scot-free for, you know, gambling WWE property away. So, I don't know about every single week, but how about next week, LA Knight, you can take on Happy Corbin for the United States Championship. And Corbin's like, what? No, this is bullshit. This is nothing about SummerSlam, Pierce. Pierce's like, well, I'll get to SummerSlam when I get to SummerSlam, but you got a match next week, buddy. Get ready for it. And I tapped him on the shoulder. It's like, you won't regret this, Pierce. Finally, the championship off of this bomb. And on a megastar to finally raise its prestige to new heights. Yeah. 78. That's a match and a half, I guess. Shida and Jordan, of course. This match is happening because Shida won the Battle Royal to determine the next #1 contenders for the tag titles. We don't know who her partner is yet, but obviously it'll be her and a partner against Jordan and Charlotte at SummerSlam. And she beats Jordan here, Full Metal Muffler. 68 for Shida. Jordan actually outscores her. Jordan gets a 70, Shida gets a 68, which is odd. And then Charlotte, of course, jumps in the ring. she starts assaulting Shida and like stomping on her, kicking her, hitting her with a natural selection, I guess. When who runs out to make the save but Cora Jade, who, you know, got involved, stuck her nose in tag title business on Raw at Bash of the Beach. She fights off Jordan, she fights off Charlotte, and she helps Shida to her feet. And she just like, what are you doing? Like, you're not in this match. It's me and my partner against Charlotte and Jordan. It's like, I know, but like, I want that shot of that title. When Utami sort of walks in, she drops Cora, and then Shida and Utami shake hands, and obviously cementing that the tag team match will be Hikaru Shida and Utami Hayashishita against Charlotte and Jordan at SummerSlam. Cora sort of left with egg on her face, I guess, because like she didn't get picked. Bayley's not around, and like I don't know what's going on with her. Backstage segment: Paul Heyman chatting to Apollo when Jimmy and Jacob walk up. He's like, "Sup, Oos?" It's like, "Can I help you, Oos?" It's like, "Mr. Heyman, why are you gonna let Daniel Bryan walking around here? Figured he'd still get a shot at the tribal chief? You see? We put Daniel Bryan down, a king of the ring. We're done with that boy." And Paul Heyman's like, "Trust me, I've got this under control." And Jimmy's like, you say you got it under control, but you got this guy, pointing to Apollo. He's like, this guy's going to be our savior. Brian's going to beat this guy, and he's going to think he's going to have an opportunity back at the tribal chief. You don't need to fight that bum again. Oos, you dig? And Heyman's like, trust me, Oos. I've got this under control. Now, if you excuse me, I do have to make a phone call. And Heyman walks off as Jimmy, Jacob, and Apollo sort of look on in confusion. When Apollo sort of just stops, like, what do you mean he's gonna beat me? In-ring segment: Adam Cole, Bebe, and Kevin Owens on the Kevin Owens show. Like, welcome to the Kevin Owens and Adam Cole, Bebe. And Kevin sort of gives him a sneer. He's like, show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you're shocked to see me and this guy on the same page here tonight. You see, the thing is, him being Adam Cole, I know he's going to stab me in the back sometime soon. But for right now, we've got our eyes set on destroying this tag team division and becoming the tag team champions. I may as well enjoy and use him before he stabs me in the back, you see, and become the tag team champion. Like, I've never been the tag team champion before, and I think that would be kind of cool. If I've got a team with this guy who I know is inevitably going to turn on me, then so be it. And of course, like, you see, unlike Kevin, I have no intention of, because I'm not a backstabber, you see. Kevin is the real backstabber here. And I know he's going to betray me when the time comes. But for right now, the enemy is my friend. And we're going to beat up those spooky boys. And I guess Gargano, you know, that guy. And the robot guys, if they want to get involved in our business. If they're going to stand in our way of getting to the top of SmackDown. And so be it. And then the lights go out. House of Black come out. And Mark Andrews and Flash Webster get in the ring. Because they're going to get a tag match, Adam Cole and Kevin Owens against Andrews and Webster, which I think will be really good because these two are scoring really well recently. 80, I'll take that, you know. Flash Webster, actually, not even Mark Andrews. Webster outscored Kevin Owens, okay, as you do. But this is why Adam Cole's doing stuff now. He's getting 94s, 78 for Kev, 80 for Webster, 70 for Andrews. He was really off his game, which is why he was so low. Because he's normally better than that, like a lot better than that. But, oh well. Decent match. And after the match, out comes Buddy Murphy and Dijakovic. He's like, you see here, mate, listen to me, you know. I don't know how many times I've got to tell you. I'm Buddy Bloody Murphy, this is Dijakovic. And you dare. I don't care about what the House of Black's got to say. I don't care about which one of you is going to stab each other in the back. If you wanted to be the tag team champions, you could have attacked them. You didn't have to interrupt our match. We were going to win at King of the Ring till you got involved in our business. Once you get involved in our business, we ain't just going to let you leave. And Kevin's like, well, we're feeling on top of the world right now. Why don't you come in here and fight us? And he's like, you know, mate, that doesn't sound like that much of a bad idea. And then Dijakovic and Buddy get in the ring. They start fighting. Gargano and Ciampa also run out from the back. They take him out. Send, you know, Dijak packing of a double clothesline over the top. But then, of course, they're still outnumbered. When the House of Black slide in and drop Kevin Owens and Adam Cole with black masses, and Elias hits, I don't know what his finisher would be, that neck breaker, I guess, on Buddy Murphy. And the House of Black sort of look across at DIY, who sort of looks back at him. So I guess the enemy of my enemy thing that Kevin Owens was talking about earlier is going to play here, because we sort of see a temporary soft alliance between Gargano Ciampa and the House of Black, because these are the more insufferable cunts of the ongoing series of events. We then get this segment. Pat McAfee says, "Ladies and gentlemen, after his heartfelt apology on last week's episode of SmackDown, me and the great Olympian Chad Gable are going to hash things out together. You see, Chad, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You are one of the greatest in that ring here on the SmackDown roster. Hell, you're a goddamn Olympian. So, obviously, I mean no disrespect to anything I ever said to you, anything that was taken the wrong way, but I do want to know, SummerSlam's coming up, and what's next for you? I don't see you around any championships. I don't see you as a tag team champion. I don't see you even mentoring tag team champions or anything." Gable's like, "Listen, McAfee, as you said, you don't see me around championships right now, but I was listening in earlier on about that whole United States Championship stuff. And honestly, Corbin and Knight next week for the title sounds good to me. But then whoever wins that match, maybe Chad Gable will be in their future at SummerSlam. You know, who knows?" McAfee's like, "Are you sure that you're gonna be chosen to be the tag team, to be the guy to fight for the US title at SummerSlam?" And Gable's like, "Well, you said it yourself, I'm the best in the ring and on this roster. Why wouldn't I be chosen to wrestle for the US title?" And Pat goes, "Well, because you're lost. You're a loser." And Gable's like, "Excuse me?" And Pat's like, "Oh, no, I didn't mean it like that. I mean that." And he's like, "No, I've had enough. I'm out of here again. I thought we could get in here. I thought we could, talk man to man and hash this out, but apparently you just get a kick out of disrespecting your Olympic heroes, and people with smarter brains than you and 4.0 GPAs. What have you ever won, McAfee? Nothing. You haven't got a degree. You haven't got a master's. You're not an Olympic level wrestler. You're just a retired footballer sitting here talking to me on a wrestling show. Don't you disrespect me." Well, then in Gorilla, ahead of the main event, Bryan just warming up, getting his last minute warm-ups in, when Keith Lee and Braun walk up to him, and they're like, same shit as before, if you need help against the Bloodline, because they're scheming, and Heyman said he's got it under control. I don't know what that means, but if it's going to stop their attack, we've got your back. And Bryan's like, "Sure, thanks, buddy." Oh no, I got that wrong. They don't have bad chemistry at all. Either that or I changed it. I can't remember. One or the other. Anyway, Bryan gets a 90. Or the match gets a 90 even. Apollo gets an 87. Bryan gets an 82. Bryan, of course, beats Apollo in 16 minutes with a running knee. And gets a win back. So maybe he will be on the horizon of the Tribal Chief. Because Roman is going to be back next week. We haven't had a segment announcing that, but that's me saying it here. He will be back next week. And who knows what his future's like. Maybe we'll probably have a lot more of a clear SummerSlam path for him after next week's Raw. SmackDown, even. But anyway, tonight's SmackDown's not over yet, because Bryan celebrates, and as he celebrates and does yes, yes, yes in the corner, outrun Jimmy and Jacob, and they assault Bryan. 2-on-1 assault. Apollo's down, he's out on the outside. Jacob Fatu and Jimmy to try and beat him up again. Keith Lee's music hits, him and Braun run out. And they finally get the upper hand. They toss Jacob Fatu. Keith Lee obviously tosses Jacob Fatu to the outside. Braun tosses Jimmy to the outside. And they brawl through the crowd into the back. And then Bryan goes back on the top. And Apollo tries to get the jump on him. And Bryan kicks him off. And he does the yes, yes, yes. Hits the big running knee. And he goes back up top to big yes chants to end the show. Or not. Because for the first time since WrestleMania, the Beast is here on SmackDown. He was actually drafted to SmackDown, so I've been holding off on bringing him in. But I have known he was a member of this roster this whole time. But Brock Lesnar storms to the ring. And Bryan obviously is shocked. He's like, well, I didn't expect to see Brock Lesnar here tonight, but like, come on in, bruh. I welcome the challenge. And they get in each other's face. Brock obviously starts to laugh in Bryan's face. And shoves him away. Like a big boy does to a small boy. And Bryan's like, well, I'm not going to be disrespected. Slaps Brock in the face, which obviously pisses Brock off. Big clothesline takes Bryan down. Laid out with an F5. And Brock Lesnar just looks down on Bryan's down body as the show goes off the air. The Beast back on the blue brand. 89 rated show, that's good. There was a lot of like lower level stuff here, like because the segments were only like 2 or 3 minutes. This match didn't have a storyline, stuff like that. It's fine. The path to SummerSlam will be not really that slow because it's only 4 weeks, but an interesting one to say the least. But before we get there, we've got to carry on with Velocity and the Cruiserweight World Cup. Velocity kicks off with a 78 rated match, and this is an interesting episode because, you know, for the first time since, you know, the second episode, we actually don't have all tournament matches because we're only doing 2 tournament matches a night. We've got these 2 quarterfinals this week. We've got the next 2 quarterfinals next week. Then I think the 2 semis on week 2 July, and then week 3 July, which would be the go home for SummerSlam. I guess we can just like hype the match up or whatever. But yes, Roderick Strong advances to the semi-finals. He defeats Zachary Ben-Shahar with a sick kick in 16:26. 82 for Roddy, 66 for Zachary Ben-Shahar. That's pretty actually good. He's really impressed me in this whole tournament so far, and hopefully his pop has gone up a lot by winning as well. But Roddy advances to the semis, and he'll face the winner of the main event, which is Rey Mysterio versus Dudley Davis. We then come back to RJ in his office. You know, he's been a faceless GM this whole time, basically, because I've not had enough room for segments of him on the show. But he's here this week, and Legado de la Sombra walk in. And Selena's like, well, what is it? Why are we on Velocity this week? She's like, you say, I'm glad you joined us, because I need you guys to do me a favor. And she's like, what is it? She's like, well, you two and you, pointing to Cruz, Wacky, and Metalik, are going to be in tag team action, trios tag team action up next. And Zena's like, well, okay, I knew you'd be desperate to get Legado on your show, but I didn't realize it was this desperate, like, day one. And RJ's like, no, trust me, you'll realize why in a few months. But I'm doing testing some stuff right now. And Zena's like, well, okay, we'll give us a free win. And they do get that free win. It's a 78 rated match against 3 dev guys. Jason Swade, Lester Blackburn, and Dale Sanford. Cruz gets the win. He wins with a suplex backbreaker combination. 86 for Metalik, 78 for Cruz Del Toro, 74 for Wacky and Wild, 48 for both the reality guys, and 53 for Jason Swade. And that's a pretty good match, and a nice showcase for this trios match here. And shit chemistry, of course. I'm getting just as tired of shit chemistry as I am with injuries. Hey, I'm not that tired of shit chemistry yet. But in terms of name value, this is obviously the expected result. In terms of momentum right now, I guess this could be considered an upset. Ray wins. He beats Dudley. 17-37, 619. 64 for Ray, 70 for Dudley. Obviously, they both get a lot higher than that, but they don't click at all, apparently. It's never just, you know, they had a little bit of a slight mismatch. It's always absolutely zero chemistry. Fucking shit. They scored a 12 collective. Fuck off. But the first semi-final has been confirmed. Rey Mysterio will battle Roderick Strong. And fun note about that is I know they are both, but I don't know if they are the only two, but I think they are the only two that have won every single match so far in this tournament. So that should be a big one. And if I look at the bracket, next week we've got Grand Metalik versus Ricochet and Dominic versus Kushida. And then one of those 6 names, I guess, will be the Cruiserweight Champion. Either Rey Mysterio, Roderick Strong, Metalik, Ricochet, Dominic, or Kushida. But this week's episode of Velocity gets us a 77. That doesn't matter at all because it's Velocity. What does matter, though, is what you thought of the show and of SmackDown mainly. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, where we will be getting the fallout from Bash at the Beach. I believe we'll be hearing from Cody, and we'll have probably another Liberty title qualifier match. And I can't remember what else I announced for next week. Anyway, see you then.